My brothers and my sisters, first things first, because today we are going to be addressing the Fulawangery, that is seed of Israel, and a little fellow by the name of Northgate. I want you to take into consideration the following things that I'd like to establish prior to going into this. 1. Always be discerning of whomever is bringing you the word. I know if I were to ask many of you sisters and brothers who were former subscribers, such as I was, if you ever saw Seed of Israel with this incel mentality, you would probably say no. However, I have to let you know, I saw this unveiling coming for some time due to the gradual complaints, as they typically do, the crying, the bleeding, and all that other stuff about sisters' makeup, hair, shoes, clothes, money. I'm letting you all know that I am rolling my eyes right now. But I saw this coming for some time, okay? So I just wanted to let you know. 2, sisters, stop allowing yourselves to be abused by listening to this evil camp incel MGTOW multiple wives misogynistic rhetoric. This is not your life. Period. On my channel, what I personally like to do is I research the relationships in the scriptures to prove to women the Camp and Kevin Samuels doctrine of showing you that you are nobody, you are nothing to Yah is an absolute lie. We do not subscribe to it. Okay? Their doctrine of trying to prove that Yah's women, the beloved daughters of Zion, are nothing and nobody, and yet somehow we manage to be the blame for the atrocities of the black man's world. This is a no. This is a no. Okay? This is not our life. This is not how our foremothers lived. This is not our life, and we will not accept it. And if you come over here, you will not accept it. You just set that up in your brain right now that if you head this way to listen to this and agree with it, this needs to be your life, because he came so that we could have life and have it more abundantly. And we will not subscribe to anything less. You know, prophecies are going to be prophecies. They're going to come. Okay? But we will not subscribe to a life of anything less than that Sarah, Leah, Rebecca, Tobit's wife, Chana, any of the men who have jumped in, even our Hamashiach, our Yah, our Father would never permit for such a thing. So do not come over here with that mindset. I want you to know we're kicking it out the door. You are way more. You are everything that he is created to be, even through our mother Eve, and how he was able to bless her with another child, with another son, okay, in Seth, after one son decided to kill the other, okay, and then was banished. Don't you ever think you're anything less. Don't listen to that camp rhetoric. Don't listen to that Kevin Samuel shenanigans. Always know that you love yourself and you be your best. Your fathers love you, and I know that they have to. And even if they don't, when they forsake us, know that our Father loves us, okay? Our prolific ancestors had healthy relationships for the most part as husbands and wives, okay? They were submitted to one another. They enjoyed love, relationships, family, friends. They were respected and everything that y'all gave them. So stop listening to this evil rhetoric. And number 3, I just want to be clear. I have no respect for Seed of Israel or any other person or man who has no respect for us. because we present ourselves respectfully. Okay? I don't care if you say I'm out of control. I don't care if you call me masculine. I don't care what you think because you've already let me know what you think. I am my father's daughter. I'm my mother's daughter. And I owe you nothing because they told me I didn't owe you anything. You're not going to be a silly man that comes in and thinks you're running off with a silly woman. You're not taking our mindsets or anything else with you on that. I owe you no respect. I owe you no submission. I owe you no explanation. Nothing until you grow a pair, find a mind, learn to respect our Yah and our brethren. Those were things that Tobit taught. Make sure you respect your brethren, which includes your sisters. Okay? Those that you have disrespectfully referred to as henpecked, those are our brothers. And they are doing righteously and looking out for us, just as the sons had done, Jacob's sons, when their sister Dinah was raped, and they went and took out every man for that crime committed by that one man. Okay? Those are our brothers looking out for us. And you called our sisters witches, other names, the B word, devils, harlots, and Jezebels. How dare you use these words against the daughters of Zion? But I just wanted to let everybody know I didn't owe you anything. So now that we've set that up and made that clear, we're going to get moving along.
I am the Oracle 007, and yes, I do approve this message. Therefore, I'd like to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel that is dedicated to the truth. So, okay, y'all, come on, let's get into this. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's community news, you'll be listening to some sources that have been gathered over the course of the last week or two. And although sometimes the news can be very funny and entertaining, other times it can be very concerning. You do wonder where accountability has gone. So why don't you take a listen to this and then let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Thank you.
All right, sisters and brothers, I'm making the following recommendations based on the fact that all of these have been rated 5 stars and nothing but pure fire as it relates to this particular subject, okay? The cleanup crew channels to check out are Sister Eve ate the fruit of lies, video of Sister Eunice, who is speaking the truth of Black men and Black women's relationships, and the Kevin Samuels man worship that is being done by those in the manosphere as well as some of those in our Hebrew sphere as well, if that's even such a thing. All right. A number of videos here from KJUDAH. We have him correcting the seed of Israel on his 7 to 12-year war against the Black women. He delivers a coup de grace on seed of Israel's foolish logic to the war against Black women. KJUDAH, in the future of a lot of your children are the grave. This one is going to be particularly sad. All of this is even sad, the fact that we have to even do this. But this particular one gives you some insight as to what's truly going on in our community. We know you already know. We know you already live in our community. and we know you also have news channels that are constantly beating us over the head every day with what's going on in our community. But if anything is speaking to the fact that the scriptures have the brute beast that are going to be out at the top of the streets and just hanging out and doing this manner of evil, unfortunately, you are going to see it in that. And you're going to see the eyes of our children who are having to suffer through this. Not so much because the Black women are out there doing anything, but we need you to see the truth for what it really is. Also, uh, one of my favorites was what took place even just this particular day on this fine Sabbath morning. Seed of emotion and North fake, lying and twisting my words. Excellent. Excellent. Please listen to. Hopefully, you all get an opportunity to even read the chat box. Always entertaining, always fun. We enjoy ourselves quite a bit. Now, we also have my brother here, Moshe Ben Yehuda Yisrael. Okay. He has the Seed of Israel's Buffoonery and Negroes with the Kevin Samuels tattoos. Like, what's happening here? And then finally, our brother, King Adam, who eats the seed of Israel alive for his Kevin Samuels commentary, clownery. Okay, so please, when you get an opportunity, those are going to be my cleanup crew video recommendations. And as it pertains to the educational and entertainment references, I am a Geechee Gullah. That's right. Eat that. Let that sink in. Okay. We have in the description box, along with all the other videos that I'm mentioning, the description of the 100-year Gullah War. It's an 11-minute documentary done by a phenomenal brother that I am seeing on here. So please, if you get an opportunity, he does Black history. Please be certain to go to his channel and listen to things like this. Increase and elevate. Okay? We are those people that were considered peculiar people. Okay. This 100-year Gullah War, he will let you know, will often be covered up by them referring to it as other wars. So be mindful of that. And many of us that came from the slaves that resided in the Gullah Islands, stretching from South Carolina, Georgia to Florida, even Haiti, please take this opportunity, learn something about your intelligent ancestors who fought and pushed the Civil War, and we did not take no for an answer. Let's be those people, okay? And again, I rate all of these recommendations straight fire. Okay, let's get into this, y'all.
You in jail. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. Then the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yeah.
In this particular beautiful segment, I love how Malcolm X speaks on behalf of Muslim men and how they are to behave in the event if somebody tries to molest their women, they will handle business. I do not understand, however, how I hear Hebrew men saying that Kevin Samuels ever spoke for them at a time such as this for things that were actually recorded in scripture. So, speak to that for me. Okay, family. So before we go into the shenanigans that is up for discussion with regard to Seed of Israel and his faulty claim as it pertains to what happened in Buffalo being brought on by Black women mocking the death of Kevin Samuels. I don't know why y'all would do something like that, but almost certain he would never. Okay. I want to recognize two individuals. The gentleman that I was talking about that had done the research as it pertained to the 100-year Gullah War that eventually had to kick off the Civil War because we were just so violent, which is how we probably should remain. His channel is History with No Chaser. Please, please, please check him out. He is giving you Black history with no chaser. And of course, they have it labeled as inappropriate because he lets you know exactly how he's feeling, accompanied with facts. Okay. And also, the clip that you've just heard from Malcolm X as it pertained to the Black woman being the most unprotected person, that clip was borrowed from a gentleman that has been doing some research into Kevin Samuels. He apparently is an investigator, and the name of his channel is Tanique Reviews, Tanique Reviews. And we are finding out some very disturbing information, allegedly, as it pertains to Kevin Samuels, who was quite the criminal syndicate. Kind of wondering why our brothers in the Hebrew arena are even like with this. But again, the information is allegedly, but he is stating he doesn't have to say allegedly. He's showing documents and etc. And there's more information to come as it pertains to Kevin Samuel. So, unfortunately, it saddens us. Of course, we do realize this man had a mother, he had a family, he had a daughter, but it doesn't sound like a lot of these were some of the best relationships. Okay, so we recognize that. We will not be empathetic toward this situation. However, I had no interest in this man, but this information is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So when you get an opportunity, I will go ahead and at least post one of Tanique's videos that's starting off. And one of them is Kevin Samuels' Wives, Women, and Lies. This man was married to a Hollywood actress, as I understand it, who has also written a book. And Tanique is also going through that book. And even the first wife, very beautiful women. I don't know how he was able to do that, but gosh, his acting skills must have been strong, but not strong enough to draw these sisters over here from the CUC into that shenanigans. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that I recognize those brothers. Seed of Israel. Ugh. I am a former follower, but I have to tell you all, as a former subscriber, I saw this unveiling coming. Okay? I saw this. Now, our purported Hebrew YouTuber, Seed of Israel, claims that the Buffalo assault that was recently taken place may have been caused by Black women mocking Kevin Samuels' death. Oh my God. Temple rub, rub temples, and then woosah. You know the woosah that you have to do, right? I don't know if any of you ever used to watch Good Times, and I love Good Times because James Evans was all 100% man. He was like my favorite TV dad and my favorite TV husband. And so if you watch this, then you'll know how you have to do the woosah, okay? Do you remember whenever Sweet Daddy would enter his domain or anybody else's when they had to take the mink out of him off of him? Do you remember how he used to kind of smoothly shake his body out of that? That's what you have to do dealing with these shenanigans right here. This stuff right here. These are purported Hebrews talking like this. Like, why would Yah, who has opted to control and close the mouth of Kevin Samuels, why in the world would he go have some dub S take out a number of his people who were doing works in the community, who were taking care of husbands, wives, family members. Why would he do that over Kevin Samuels, who I just announced to you all was quite the criminal syndicate, allegedly. Okay? But I'm still watching Tanique Reviews information. Okay, so I need to ask you all, who in the world was Kevin Samuels supposed to be to Israel that Hebrews would defend his rhetoric, threaten black women, impending a 7 to 12-year war featuring a bloodbath, referring to the daughters of Zion, and get this, interchangeably, as Jezebels, harlots, succubuses, wicked black bees, and even on one occasion, he was this close to saying that we were the damn devil, and so on and so on and so on, in his righteous logic, which is not much as far as I'm concerned. Also, I need to know, are there any of you out there that agree with these shenanigans? Do you agree with his logic? If so, let me know. Hit me up in the comment section because we're about to get into this, scriptures and all. Alrighty then, let's do it. I mentioned previously that there's always a problem with people who like to oppress people, and you ought to know that. Because you yourself said on one of your recordings that currently WS is the least of your worries. It's right now, you got to get these women under control, right? That's amazing. You are under subjection in an entire system, and you want to get the sisters under control because we have gone unchecked, as you've stated, for approximately 70 years. I laugh even when I think about at that video where you're saying that Kevin Samuels was attempting to restore order. Was he? Was he? Let's take a listen at this, shall we?
Only a rejected, dejected person could say the things that you're about to hear.
It's time to put that shit on clearance. If you at 40, it's time to put that shit at the outlet. If you at 50, Salvation Army. If you're over 35, it's time to put that shit on clearance. If you at 40, it's time to put that shit at the outlet. If you at 50, Salvation Army.
If I could be honest with you, you all seem like you're very big fans of oppression. You actually heard what Kevin Samuels just said in reference to age. Like, this is what he would do with a fine bottle of wine. He would probably treat that bottle of wine that would be something, let's say it was from 1498 or something like that. And he's saying if it's this age, then you need to put it at the outlet. And if it's this age, then you need to just give it to the Salvation Army. And if it's this age, this is a grown man, or was a grown man, over a half of a century old, telling women to devalue yourself with age. However, did you see him doing that? And then again, maybe he did. Who knows what was in his system? Allegedly. We're not going to devalue ourselves with age. That is not anything that any sister should ever be doing just because you're this, and this, and thus. Okay? What happens? You consider yourself as a fine vintage wine, and even more than that. It's just like that vintage jewelry. That jewelry that was created so many centuries ago for the Queen of England. Do you see her just tossing it and handing it out? She's barely even letting it go to museums. Okay? that means that that thing is still expensive. It is still worth something. We don't take our chastity, we don't take our celibacy, we do not take these things and just toss it out to swine because you're getting older. And I have continually spoken to our sisters and told, do not do any such thing. You are valuable. Do you know if you have no husband in your life right now, who is your husband? And that would be your Father, our King, our Elohim. You do not devalue yourself for anybody. But you heard it right here, folks. And this is the man that the seed of Israel would have you to believe. He wanted to show the world the order of the man and the woman, and that he was trying to restore order. Yet, the seed of Israel and the little guy beside him are going to sit here and tell you they can commit fornication. You cannot. And you need to learn how to keep your legs closed. Well, which one is it? Because we're receiving different messages here. You know, what is that scripture in James? Is it James? Which one is it where it's talking about the double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways? Okay. James 1:8. I mean, do we not know this? Consider that. But anyway, you seem like you're big fans of the oppression and the oppression of women. You know, oppression comes with a cost, okay? And you're going to find out because apparently this is what the Gentiles are going to eventually find out. You know, I'm sitting here thinking about how bad the sisters were that when you are reading Enoch 7, whether you subscribe to this book or not, this is something to know that the sisters were so bad. It said that it happened that even as the sons of men had multiplied in those days, that the daughters were born to them elegant and beautiful. That's who you are, darling. Elegant and beautiful. And it says, when the watchers, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, come, let us select for ourselves women. Now, they know they weren't supposed to be doing it. Those bodies aren't even compatible. However, they were so enamored with their beauty. And that's how everybody needs to be when they're looking at you day in and day out. When they look upon you, when they come into contact with you, when you're speaking with them, they need to be enamored of you. Okay? It does not need to be the incel porn that's happening over here. I heard one gentleman use that in some video that one of my sisters, Eve ate the fruit of lies, sent over. And when he said that, and I said, that is exactly what it is. I could not stop using that point. Because like Kevin, here we see the seed of Israel who is sitting here going, you have to see women put in their place, because he himself also says, you know, you black women, you sisters, you harlots, you Jezebels, again, Jezebels, us, the Phoenician princess who worships Baal. You want to compare us to? He says we have gone unchecked for 70 years, for over 70 years. Where did he get that piece of information from? You know, where did that come from? I can only imagine. Okay? I can only imagine. But I want to start with their desire to oppress the sisters there. So we're starting with the watchers coming into play here. And then we learned that there's a leadership amongst them. Okay, there's ranks here. So I'm going to call out their names. These are the names of the chiefs. Shemayaza, who was their leader. Urak Baramel, Akibiel, Tamayael, Ramuel, Danel, Asgael, Sarakneel, Asiel, Armers, Batrael, Anani, Zababi, Samsabiel, Ertuliel, Turel, Yamyael, Araziel. These were the prefects of the 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. Okay? This are those angels. You will not hear this name. Okay? This is very important. Now I'm going to read chapter 8 and 1. Moreover, Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, the fabrication of mirrors, the workmanship of bracelets, ornaments, the use of paint, the beautifying of eyebrows. I feel some kind of way about that, y'all, because y'all know, as ladies, this seems to be a very necessary thing. Like, it opens up your face. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me continue. Stones of every valuable and select kind, and all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Okay? He taught the making of this weaponry, eyes, dyes, all this other stuff that we would consider beautiful. And it said the world became altered. Like, this was something that wasn't supposed to happen. It became altered. Okay? And here we see in verse 2, impiety increased, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed and corrupted their ways. Chapter 9 at the beginning. You'll see where Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Suriel, and Uriel looked down from heaven. They saw the quantity of blood. Remember, because Seed has stated there will be an effing bloodbath, like of great proportion. They're going to take us out. And that is not going to happen. But anyway, let's go on with this. They're telling our king, they go to him, first giving their honor, okay? Talking to him, letting him know, like, do you see this? Do you see what Azazel has done in chapter 5? How he's taught every species of iniquity upon earth, and has disclosed the world all the secret things that which are done in heaven. And they also mention Shemiyaza. They mention him too, the leader, as you recall, has taught sorcery, to whom you have given authority over those who are associated with him. They have gone together to the daughters. Okay? They taught these things to us. Now, let's go to chapter 10. Okay? Verse 1. Then El Elyon, the great and holy one, spoke and sent Asaliar to the son of Lamech. Who is the son of Lamech? We understand that to be Noach. Okay? Saying unto him, in my name conceal yourself, and then explain to him the consummation which is about to take place. For all the earth shall perish, and the waters of the deluge shall come over the whole earth, and all things which are in it shall be destroyed. Now teach him how he may escape, and how his seed may remain in all the earth. All the earth, okay? Again, Yahuwah said to Raphael, listen to this. Bind Azazel, hand and foot, cast him into darkness, the opening in the desert, which is in Dudael. Cast him in there. Throw upon him hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. There shall he remain forever. Cover his face that he may not see the light. And in the great day of judgment, let him be cast into the fire. He goes on to tell them to restore the earth so that he can and make an announcement of life to it so that he can revive it. Okay? But later on he says in verse 12, all the earth has been corrupted by the effects of the teaching of Azazel. To him, therefore, ascribe the whole crime. Okay? Azazel caused all of this, even though he wasn't the leadership. they mentioned the name of the leader, but Azazel is getting ascribed the entire crime. There's something to be said for those people who love to see other people in oppression. That was the problem, if you'll recall, what happened with Jannes and Yambres. Okay? That was the problem that happened with Jannes and Yambres. They were on the side of oppression. And that thing, even though they were the king's magicians, was taken very seriously by Yah. Okay? And that's amazing, because when you heard that clip that I borrowed from from Tanique Reviews, it's not surprising. He continued, and I'm talking about Seed of Israel here, to mention in his commentary that women thought they were all that and they didn't need a man because they had a little money in their back pocket, yada, 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 about black women getting a wake-up call, bloodbaths forthcoming, and yada, yada, yada. You know, it's just amazing that there will be a price for oppression, whether you believe that or not, whether you subscribe to that book of Enoch or not. There will be a price for oppression. What do you think this impending war, the anger of the Most High, our King, when he cracks through that sky, he is coming for war against folks like you who think that you can sit here and oppress other people. Wisdom would tell you that you band together as one, as a people, your sisters and your brothers. But something in you is extremely, extremely bitter. Something in you is extremely, extremely angry. You refer to our brothers as being emotional, but it's not them. It's actually you. You refer to them as being sympathizers. 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 I couldn't get past that, y'all. Sympathizers, because they stand with their mothers, their sisters, their wives, their daughters. They became sympathizers. I mean, Seed literally thinks that we are one people. He came through the birth canal of some black woman. Okay, I seen him, and he is black. Okay? He came through the birth canal of some black woman, and he's talking about a bloodbath on black women. Amazing. He might need to read, whether he subscribes to it or not, the book of Enoch, chapter 98. And you need to read that entire chapter. Okay? Because it's just amazing how they're sitting here talking about people who are bitter and things that you need to deal with, and woe, like these woes right here in verse 11. Woe to you who expand the crime of your neighbor. That would be you. For in Sheol shall you be slain. Okay? Woe to you who lay the foundation of sin and deceit, and who are bitter on the earth. For on it shall you be consumed. And woe to you who build your house by the labor of others, every part of which is not constructed with a brick and with a stone of crime. I tell you that you shall not obtain peace. I tell you that you shall not obtain peace. Okay? Woe to you who despise the extent of the everlasting inheritance of your fathers, because you do. We are that inheritance. When you read in Tobit how that angel is telling Toviyahu, the son, that this young lady, Sarah, is an inheritance for him, then you need to catch a clue, because apparently you cannot buy one. And again, let's get back to 14th. Woe to you who despise the extent of the everlasting inheritance of your fathers, while your soul follows after idols. For you there shall be no tranquility. Woe to them who commit iniquity and give aid to blasphemy, who slay their neighbor, until the day of the great judgment. For your glory shall fail,
Malevolence shall be put into your hearts, and the ruach of his wrath shall stir you up, that every one of you may perish by the sword. And then shall all the righteous and the holy remember your crimes, and we will not forget, especially not over here at the CUC. So just wanted to let you know that. Go and read that in Enoch chapter 98, starting in verse 11. As a matter of fact, read the whole thing, because there was just so much you need to know and you need to consider for the crimes that you are doing on your channel of the Mind of the Brotherhood. This is sad. This is sad. Anybody, and for you to say that the Most High gave you a sign, no, he didn't. Better be mindful where you're actually getting your signs from. Let's take a break. I have to tell you that I had been looking into your claims of this being an abomination. You know, the fact that, oh, these black bees were out here and they were mocking the death of Kevin Samuels, and so and so and this and that and thus, blah, blah, blah. Black women, wham, wham, wham. So I found your claims of the mocking of death to be quite questionable. However, and I'm going to say the reason why, because not even I noticed that when all the things that Israel has going on, enemies at every gate, such a thing as Kevin Samuels was never even mentioned in the scriptures, and, you know, none of that. But I also noticed that even upon the Hamashiach's death being mocked, I didn't see anything about that either. I did notice that there were some scriptures that were actually out there that said, you know, don't try to correct a mocker because they will hate you. You know, but if you correct a wise man, then they're going to love you for it. And judging from your responses to our brothers, KJUDAH, Moshe, you know, King Adam, all of them that you've been just kind of upset with, and your responses keep getting harder and more ridiculous, you are not a wise man, because you are mocking the women who actually live. But you are not a wise man. You're not taking it very well. So just like the scripture says, just as it stated, that when you correct a mocker, that they actually hate you for it. And that's what you've been doing, to the point where you called men that are supposed to be your brothers. These are supposed to be your brothers, not the bitter encampment that you are creating for those like, we are the He-Man Woman Haters Club. We are the part of our gang from the Little Rascals with that big sign on the door, the He-Man Woman Haters Club, and we hate the black woman. And so the ones that are actually your brothers who are telling you to correct this matter, repent. You don't want to hear from them. You called them sympathizers. Sympathizers to who? We are one people. You think that we are two separate people. You think that we are only men or we are only women. And thank goodness that Yah and all of his wisdom knew better, because you cannot create little human beings through just men or just women. These two have to come together. Okay? So I find your dispute of mocking the death of Kevin Samuels to be an abomination. I find that to be questionable at best. Okay? You also simultaneously told men not to rejoice in the assault of the women in Buffalo, but you do know that nearly half of them were men. And you also said that Dub S was the least of our problems. You are pretty much in a system
that is controlled by WS. Granted, the leash is starting to loosen. The fact that you could say that that is the least of your problems when that is how they control everything, especially being the fact that these crimes have increased dramatically since 2008. And you saying this is the least of your problems, you need to check Black women, that's a problem. That's a sign of a man who has no authority over his house. So you can't be married, or either you've never had an opportunity to assist her. I can see you dating or marrying other people, and I'm kind of wondering if that's true. Little birdie kind of told me something. I was wondering if there was a Gentile that was up in the mix, because and was there any abandonment of some type? Because normally men that can get sisters and men that can get sisters that are married to sisters don't have this kind of problem. Never heard my dad talking like that. And these brothers that you are calling sympathizers, don't hear them talking like that. And you hear these voices that they have, that's not emotionalism. You have emotionalism and bitterness. That's why you have a whole gang of men over there that are like, they have their tiki torches and they're ready to clunk women over the head and etc. And that's just not how it's going to go down in here. But I just wanted to let you know that that's questionable. No such thing is mentioned in the scriptures unless you want to provide it to me. I'm a wise woman. If I've overlooked it, it's not a classy thing to do to rejoice in someone's death. But in the same token, as my brothers mentioned it the other night, you do rejoice in the death of your enemies, people that have oppressed you. So, hey, more to come. I'm kind of seeing your logic is no different than the Gentiles that I will see that will have the United States flag on the right, the Confederate flag on the left of their trucks. These are two totally different mindsets. Why in the world? Who thought of that dumbness? That was just stupid. Gentiles that are listening, if any, that is not smart, because you have a United States flag and a Confederacy flag that was about separating from any union with the United States. So, hey, that's kind of what's going on with you, Seed. And I want you to consider this, like James 1:8. Did you not know that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways? That's key number one. That lets us know that this little organization that you're pulling together is going to be a failure. It will fail. Just want to let you know that. I'm letting you know ahead of time. Our brothers tried to warn you. You called them sympathizers and didn't take too kindly to it, but I'm telling you now. And as far as it is with questioning the death mocking thing, to being an abomination, let me say this. I did find a number of these things that you were doing that are abominations that are actually mentioned. So let's bring them out. Bring it out. Bring it out. Proverbs 6:16 through 19. These are the 6 things which Yah hates. Yes, 7 which are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, like the bloodbath in the 7 to 12-year war against the women, for which we found no precedence in the scriptures. Bring that out. Where's the precedence of fighting your sisters in the scriptures? Please bring that out. Let us hear that. Because you don't seem like you put things together well. And our brothers have been out here dividing the truth, giving that information to you. And again, you called them sympathizers. You called them out of their names. You called them henpecked. So essentially, you're calling us hens and we're controlling them. We have no control over none of these brothers. Okay? They run their houses. They run things. And the things that their women are set in place to do, those women handle those things. And the things they need the sisters on the outside from, just like Mary and Martha, we handle those things. So that's how this works. You wouldn't know that. But if you should ever abandon these ideals, I just want you to understand, okay? when you line up, because it is in the scriptures, you do what you're supposed to do, because the scriptures were the things that pointed out that the man was the head and then the woman, and then you sit here and you submit to one another. She doesn't just submit to you, submit to one another. That's also in the scriptures. Look that up. Okay. Just wanted you to know that piece of information. That's how things run. Okay, that's how they were able to get the sisters to come in, and we jump on that bandwagon and we make things happen that they need to make happen, as well as for ourselves. We multiply that thing. Okay. So not only have thy haughty eyes, lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, like you are, feet that run rapidly to evil, like those that are joining your camp, false witness who utters lies, like you, seeing millions of black women. There's no way. I never believed that. You saw millions of black women who are mocking the death of Kevin Samuels. Like, who cares? Okay. And one who spreads strife amongst the brothers, like you are, calling our brothers henpecked out of their name. Like, what's wrong with you? Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. And always wanting women to be silent. The women in the scriptures were not silent. We will not be silent. We are our foremothers' daughters, and even more so, we are our forefathers' daughters. And that's not how this works. We are silent only in certain situations. But hey, we will not see the desolation of Israel. And that's probably why it'll be able to stand on a last leg and have a remnant. Okay? And let's get to some other abominations. Let's see if you recognize these. Proverbs 16:5. Everyone who is proud in heart is an abomination to Yah. Assuredly, he will not go unpunished. Okay? Jeremiah 6:15. Were they ashamed because of the abomination which they have done? And here's the answer. No, they were not ashamed at all. They did not even know how to blush. Therefore, they shall fall from among those who fall. At that time that I punish them, they shall be cast down, says our Elohim. We know, we hold these truths here to be self-evident, because anybody who has ever lived and walked the walk in this life knows that Yah says what he means what he says. He is unwavering, and he will do exactly what he says, which is the reason why our people are in its current captivity. Ha ha ha. He did exactly what he said. Okay. Proverbs 28:9. He who turns away his ear from listening to the law, even his prayers an abomination. Again, our brothers have told you you are in error, and you continue to listen to an imp where that is agreeing with you. Sometimes it's not good. And let me say this, to have a yes man. I don't think it's ever good to have a yes man, because that's the man that's going to wind up getting you hurt and destroyed from you believing what he's saying. Okay? Leviticus 18:29. For whoever does any of these abominations, those persons who do so shall be cut off from among their people. You're being cut off from among your people. You continue to adhere to these shenanigans. Yes. Does the Most High have a means of fooling us and causing something like this where we can actually be taken over by delusion? Yes, he does. But you need to be mindful who you attribute the fact that you received some sign to go into a 7 to 12-year war against women and then speaking against the brothers. Everything that I have mentioned previously to you in the scriptures states that what you are doing is an abomination. So You don't have to listen to any of us. It would be wise for you to repent, but you don't have to listen to any of us. More than likely, you've given yourself over to a dark matter. Okay? And even more so, just to let you know, here are some unquiet sisters that were having to make noise for saving of Israel. So let's bring that out. Okay? Let's go to Judges and 4. And the children of Yasharel again did evil in the sight of Yahuwah. When Ehud was dead, and Yahuwah sold them into the hands of Yavin, the king of Canaan, that reigned in Chatzor. The captain whose host was Sisera dwelt in Chasareth of other nations. And the children of Yasharel cried unto El Yahuwah, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Yasharel. For 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Yasharel. I have asked you kindly not to forget there's something about oppression that the Most High does not like. We've already mentioned that in Enoch. We saw where indeed the world became altered because of what Azazel had done in putting certain things into the earth. And those oppressions eventually fell on us. This is the state of what's going on with Dub S now in our world being oppressed. Okay? And it's amazing here because we see right here with Deborah, the prophetess, the woman of Lapidoth. She judged Yasharel at that time. What? Did this scripture say she judged Yasharel at the time? It does say that. Who would have permitted that but our Yah? Okay? I love hearing that. It tells us now where she lives and everything. But more importantly, let's see, she's going to call out to this king. She sent and called for Barak, the son of Abiamal, out of Kadesh, Naphtali, and said unto him, has not Yahuwah Elohai of Yasharel commanded, saying, go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with you 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and the children of Zebulun, and I will draw unto you the river Kishon, Sisera, captain of Yavim's army, and his chariots and his multitude. I will deliver him into your hand. And Barak said unto her, listen, this is him speaking to her. If you will go with me, then I'll go. But if you don't go with me, then I will not go. But she said, surely, I surely will go with you, notwithstanding the journey that you take shall not be for your honor. I'm letting you know this journey that you're about to take is not going to be for your honor. Because you need me to go with you. Yeah, he needed her to go with him. But it's not going to be for your honor, but for Yahuwah. He shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. Okay? And here we are now. We're going to go in that same chapter 4 to verse 18. Love it. When Yael, that's a woman, went out to meet Sisera and said to him, turn in, my lord, turn into me, fear not. Sometimes you need that sweet, soft voice and the touch. And it's amazing that the Most High would give a woman a prophecy and tell him he is going to be given into a woman. And this brilliant, wise woman goes out and lets him know, you can trust me. And when he had turned into her tent, she covered him with a mantle. And then he said unto her, give me, I pray you, a little water to drink, for I'm thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk and gave it to him to drink and covered him. And again he said to her,
Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be when any man comes and inquire of you and says, is there any man here, that you shall say no. And then Yael, Shever's woman, okay? This is somebody's woman, okay? But she knew what she had to do because this joker over here was oppressing Israel. And nobody like that, especially not the sisters, but for some reason, you've decided to join your hand to dub S. Okay, you became like one of them to hold your women under subjection. And look at the great things these women were doing. Okay, then Yael, Shever's woman, took a nail of the tent and a hammer in her hand and went softly unto him and smote the nail through his temple, fastened it in the ground, for he was fast asleep and weary, so he died. And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Yael came out to meet him and said, come, and I will show you the man whom you seek. And when he came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temple. So Elohim subdued on that day Yaveam, the king of Canaan, before the children of Yasharel, and the hand of the children of Yasharel prospered. You see that? See what happens when women and men of the same nation work together? You probably didn't hear that. Let me read that again. And I want to make sure you understand, because you don't divide the word of truth very well. So let's go ahead and go into that again. She brought him in the tent, and behold, he lay dead. Okay. After that, Elohim subdued on that day Yavim, the king of Canaan, before the children of Yasharel, and the hand of the children of Yasharel prospered and prevailed against Yaviam, the king of Canaan, until they destroyed Yaviam, the king of Canaan. Learn something. Learn something. Learn something. This is what happens when you work together. But will you continue to commit your abominations that you are doing against the nation's women? You continue to keep doing that, and I'm going to continue to keep encouraging our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, our aunties, all of them, grandma, all. I'm here now. You have refused to listen to those brothers that corrected you, but I'm here. And we are here. There's more than just me. So I want to let you know what's coming. Your plan will not prevail. Your plan will not prevail. Your plan will not prevail. Just as this man sat here and oppressed the children of Yasharel for 20 years, just like you want to try to oppress the daughters of Yisrael, it will not happen. Many of us will live to be those women that grab a hold of the one man that may not be you in the forthcoming days, okay? With the resources. And because we are so brilliant, we will know how to work with that man with those resources. Okay? You and your partnerships are not those men. Your plan will not prevail. Our sisters know their worth. Okay? They will only bind themselves to those men who also recognize their worth. We will not be fooled. You have put your shenanigans out there into the universe, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that we never forget it. Never forget who you are and what you have done. To my sisters, our mothers, aunties, friends, daughters, nieces, all you wonderful, beautiful women that the Most High has created for his purpose,
you do just that thing. I pray that your discernment continues to increase, that you know the manner of men that you are around, that unless you are around the manner of men who know how to build communities, then those men will fail. The same way the Most High was able to judge between Abraham and his brother when he set them in the fire, because he knew his brother, and that's whose daughter he wound up marrying, Sarah's. He knew that his heart was not like Abram's. Okay? He knew his heart was not like Abraham's. That's why Abraham could walk around in that fire for 3 days. And Nimrod had to call him out. Okay? I pray that our discernment reaches the heavens like that we are able to see things that normal women who may want to be silly may not see. But I pray for even the silly woman, that her discernment continues to increase, that we will not allow men like that, like the seed of Israel and the people that he's starting to pick up. We will not allow that anywhere near us, but we will continue to partnership with the men that the Most High has set aside. Okay. And also, seed, just want to let you know, last word, the CUC, we are not a camp. We are the real deal. Understand? This is not a camp. We are the real deal. We are a community. We are a family. Okay? Don't ever refer to us as a camp. You may do it just to be childish, but we are not a camp. This is what community is. Okay? Alrighty then, ladies, gentlemen, and for our real sisters and our brothers, we bless you. Take care, y'all.